Abram said to Lot, "Pray let there be no contention between you and me, between your herdsmen and mine, for we are kinsmen. Is not all the land before you? Pray let us part company. If you take the left hand, then I shall go right, and if you take the right hand, I shall go left." And Lot raised his eyes and saw the whole plain of the Jordan, saw that all of it was well watered, before the Lord's destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt till you come to Zoar. And Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan, and Lot journeyed eastward, and they parted from one another. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and he set up his tent near Sodom. All right, so that's chapter 13, verse 5 through 12, and I just want to stop there. Okay. So a couple of things to pay attention to. The first thing is that, in fact, God has indeed taken care of Lot and is taken care of Abraham and his nephew Lot. He's taken care of them so well that they have too much stuff, that the land can't support both of them. So what we have here then is it's obviously potential strife between the herdsmen of the two men. So then we can say, all right, so then how can Abraham get out of this situation? Well, there are lots of options here. I think it's easy enough for Abraham to just tell Lot, look, I'm your uncle. I'm your kinsman, but, I outrank you. You go over there and I'll stay here. You'll do what I tell you to do. And quite honestly, you'll give me some of your flocks as well. I mean, it's my prerogative. This is just simply what you're going to. That would be one way of dealing with this, is to just, it would just be to establish the clear hierarchy here. So that's one way to do it. But Abram, he doesn't do it that way. What does he say? He says, look at the land, which if you go left, I'll go right. If you go right, I'll go left. And notice what he does here. He doesn't say a darn word about which way seems to be even better. He doesn't even mention that. And for me, I find that there's quite a bit of wisdom in there. Simply because just knowing how human beings interact. If Abram said something like, well, gee, I'll go to the left side because the right looks so much better. Well, what's that going to provoke in Lot? Lot's probably going to be thinking, why does he want to go to the left? No, I'll go to the left. Or even then, if he says, I'll take the left, Lot, you can go to the right. The right looks much better. But what happens whenever, things start going bad for Lot? Well, he can blame Abraham. Rather than doing those things, look what he does. He lets Lot choose. Right? I mean, just think of it this way. You'd have to think back to when you were little kids, and you have to imagine your younger brother or sister, and you would have to be the older one in this situation, where there are two cookies. And as a child, this is very difficult. If there are two cookies, and let's say it doesn't matter, one is oatmeal raisin. I happen to like oatmeal raisin, and one's chocolate chip. I also happen to like chocolate chip. I probably like chocolate chip a little bit more. Say those are the two cookie options, and you're the older sibling. Again, what do you get to do? Well, it could be I'm the older sibling, I'm taking the chocolate chip cookie. It could be you try to do reverse psychology on your younger sibling, and you go, oh boy, that oatmeal raisin sure looks good. Hoping that they'll go, oh, he wants the oatmeal raisin, therefore I want the oatmeal raisin. But now imagine, as a child, if you could actually pull off what Abraham's done here, to be able to look at those two cookies and to tell your sibling, you get to choose whichever one you want. You'd probably sit there and say that your sibling wouldn't trust you if you were being that kind and that judicious in trying to avoid this sort of strife. But it's precisely what Abraham does. Abraham is willing to give up any claim to the land to Lot. Now, we can ask ourselves, why? Well, is this just simply, is this just simply a strategy to avoid strife? It could be. But I think it could also be an act of faith, of that loyalty to God.